Hello, I'm Bruce Zimmerman, and this is the Open Line Garden Show podcast for this week. Now, Clematis. Clematis are interesting plants in that they're mainly vines, but there are a few, of course, that are not, that do need support, but they are basically about 3 feet tall. We're not going to cover those ones, but we are going to cover the big flowered ones. Now, there are also the species which are smaller and have many more flowers. They're a lot tougher and they're a lot easier to grow. So if you've always had problems growing the big flowered clematis, possibly these species are those clematis that you need to take a look at for your garden. Okay, let's talk about some of the large flowered ones. The old varieties, the Jackmanis, the red Jackmanis, and many Nellie Moser and many others are really, really good. They are dependable in your garden. So if you've got them, continue with them. If that's all that's available in your area, go with them. But here's some good varieties that are a lot newer, that are nice rebloomers in your garden throughout the summer. So very often, these are the newer, nicer, more unusual large-flowered clematis. The first one I'd like to do is Brother Stephan. Now, Brother Stephan is going to be one of the nicest blues you'll ever see. It's a bright, intense blue. It's got a lighter, wavy margin. It's got the yellow stamens in the middle. So you know that it's going to give you that great blue effect in the garden. Very hard to get. It is also one of the ones that blooms in June and July on old wood. And then later on in the summer, it blooms on new wood. So that means that each spring you will prune this particular clematis down to about 2 feet and let her go. The nice thing about this one is that it's large enough that it will grow over supports. So it's a 5 to 7 foot clematis and it grows quickly, easily. So you can put it onto or in a cage, etc. and let it go. Let it run. Let it have a good time. I think you'll find that this one will be a little more hardy than a lot, mainly because it was bred in Poland, and therefore, hopefully, it's got that sort of northern winter hardiness. We'll see. It is rated to zone 4, so that should be a good indication. Of course, it's a summer rebloomer. Then there's Diamond Ball. Now, this is a cool white blue flower. It's semi-spherical in shape. In other words, this is why they call it ball. So it's like half a ball. And it's interesting in its shape. Its color is a little pale, but let's be honest, you need a little contrast to the dark, more garish colors in your garden. This would be it. The flowers are 4 to 5 inches in diameter, which is another nice thing about it. It blooms on old wood and on new wood from June through August. And I think you'll find it's hardy to zone 4. So you've got a rebloomer with an unusual shape and a little lighter color, but lots of blooms. And that's the other thing we always look for in any plant, lots of blooms. The next one has got one of the neatest names I think you can have, Happy Jack Purple. It always reminds me of the song, Happy Jack. But anyways, velvety plum purple flowers with the yellow stamens in the middle. It's interesting in the fact that it's fairly aggressive. It's a summer rebloomer. It's hardy to zone 5. It's one of the Jackmani type clematis. So it's like an improved one. And that makes it, we know a good one. Because how long has Jack Manai been around? Forever. So you should try this one. Blooms on new and old wood, so prune back to 2 feet in the spring. Jolly Good is exactly that. It's an abundant light purple flowers, magenta overtones. It's new wood blooming clematis all summer long. So it's a very long blooming. It has creamy white stamens, so that makes a nice contrast. It is coming out of the Jack Manai hybrid breeding program, so it is, again, a good one. It is fairly compact in its size. So you're looking at 6 to 7 feet, and you'll find that it's good for training on trellises, etc. Same as you would with Jack Manai. Pruning, it's as simple as pruning this one back to 2 feet in the spring as well. Summer rebloomer, hardy zone 4, 6 to 7 feet. And that is jolly good. Madame Maria. Now, Madame Maria is going to be my choice of clematis to replace Duchess of Edinburgh. I like Duchess of Edinburgh. It is the double, it is the white, but flowers are so small. This one, Madame Maria, has lots of clematis. It's fully double. The flowers are white. They're 5 to 6 inches across. So now you know, right, why I want this one. Flowers from June, July on old wood, and then in late summer on new wood. And you prune it back to 2 feet in the spring, which makes everything very easy, right? It has won a ton of prizes all over the world, and it is one to look for. And yes, I know it's white, but it makes an excellent contrast to others and other plants in the garden. And just because it's white, don't hold it against it. But it is large, it is white, and that certainly is going to be a lot better than Duchess of Edinburgh. Pink Mink. Now, this group I'm going to talk about is flowers are not exactly what I would call the best. By that I mean they're usually 4-petaled. And that means that you can see through them, okay? Pink Mink is exactly that, though. Pink with a very large, dark bar down the middle of each petal. So it is distinctive. It's just not what I would call your, full flower that you're used to in a clematis. It's got lots of blooms, though. It's pink on pink in early summer, and it will bloom until early fall. Pruned to about 18 inches in early spring. It's won a lot of awards, even though it's sort of in this shape. And since it was sort of bred in much colder climates, they're trying to tell me it was bred in Poland. So that means that it's probably going to be quite hardy. It says hardy to zone 4, but here's one of the neat things about this one. Height is 9 to 10 feet, and it's considered to be about 6 to 6.5 feet wide. So this one is a big, aggressive summer rebloomer. There's some of its assets right there. Still Waters is another one. This one is a little nicer in the fact that your flowers and your petals are much larger, and of course they overlap. It's a cool blue. Now it's a violet, light violet blue. It has dark red stamens, which you have to get up close to see that, okay? But you'll see it. It's early flowering. It's long-lasting blooms from late spring until late summer. I think you're going to like this one. It's sort of in the idea that it's a good contrast to other things. You may like this one contrasted against dark foliage or next to or near dark foliage plants such as the black lace sambucus. So let's try that one for a little difference. It does make a good cut flower. Most of them do not, and I think you'll like that. It flowers on new and old wood, so you prune back to about 2 feet each spring, and just leave it be. That's it. Let it go. So I think for low maintenance, that might be a good one. Sweet Summer Love is another one of those clematis that is very four-petaled, very open. You can see through it. It's sort of a sweet autumn style clematis. It blooms longer than most. It is got a fragrance to it, and that is unusual. But the flower color is a cranberry violet blooms, and that is different in the fact that you're going to have a lot of pinks, your blues. Well, here's more of a cranberry red, so that's excellent. They're only 2 inches across in early spring. It has won a lot of awards for its breeding because of the unusual shape of the flower and the color range. It's going to be over 10 feet in length, so it's going to be a big boy. Summer rebloomer, hardy to zone 4, and I think you're going to like this one, though it is a little more unusual. Viva Polonia is a clematis that has red flowers. It has the white inner star in the flower, okay? And what you'll find, it prefers a sunny location, but not overheated. So that means you're going to need a bright, sunny location that is not full sun. And that needs to be adhered to for this one to do well. It flowers from June and July on old wood, and again later in the summer on new wood. The flowers, they're decent size. They're about 3 to 4 inches across. And you'll prune this one back a little less severe than the others, in the fact that you'll prune it back to 2 to 3 feet. It does rebloom in the summer. It only gets 4 to 6 feet tall, and it's hardy to zone 4. It's a little unusual, but there's some of the newer clematis that you can try to add some interest to your collection or just to your garden. I'm Bruce Zimmerman. This is the Open Line Garden Show podcast for this week.